Whoa.
You're live?
We're very live right now.
No, you're not. I don't see it. Oh, it says in broadcast. Yes, we are. Okay. You're live. We're live. Joe, why did you turn off the music, Joe?
It was a short one. We got another one, though. Here we go. Oh, boy, this is a terrible song.
It sounds
Anyways, we are live, and you are listening. Maybe you're watching Transparency and Merit. It's a Stoic Calm episode. Nick Cannon. Cancel culture.
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. We got this Nick Cannon guy who has billboards all over our city, and he's a pop culture phenom, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I've ever listened to a Nick Cannon show, but I know he's got his own terrestrial radio show, simulcasted everywhere, probably. Who knows? What do you know about Nick Cannon?
You know, I've never been a fan. I've always thought of him as kind of a corny dude.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each his own. Some people, I guess, enjoy him.
Whatever wakes up in the morning, I guess. He does like a morning roll, I guess.
Yeah. And he said a few things just recently that I don't necessarily agree with. But you know what? I don't really care.
Do we have any examples of what he said, or?
You know what I mean? You can look at him on Twitter. If you go to your Twitter page, you can look at him. And
we got this TMZ article here. It's here. Diddy got a pitch from for Cannon. He wants Nick to join his cable network because a spokesperson for the media giant is responding to Nick's criticisms. I guess he was hired through Viacom, and he said he dropped him for making anti-Semitic comments, now claiming it's the media giant that's being divisive, not him. Not sure exactly what he said, but anybody could find this stuff here, and these I guess TMZ broke the story as they somehow always do.
Yeah, and you can listen to it on YouTube, or I think it's out there on Twitter, on YouTube. Yeah, you know what, Darren, I certainly hope not. I hope the show does not get banned like the last one did.
We're not going to play any clips from this.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's a good idea to play any clips. Yeah, I mean, do you think it's a good idea, or do you think because TMZ may own it, and we can get banned from that? So
I like listening to them, and you know, we have the case. We are a nonprofit organization, Transparency and Merit, and you know, we're not trying to make a buck off of TMZ, but we'll hold back until we do a little more research on what we can and can't get away with.
Yeah, but basically, the one thing that he did say was that that the less melanin you have in your body or in your skin, that it's kind of a thing of empathy, and I could be like, some of it I'm kind of paraphrasing, you know, that just it kind of means less empathy. I don't know what he said about Jews, but he did say like that whites by nature have a little bit less empathy. I don't know what he said that was anti-Semitic, but I got to tell you, Joe, I'm against cancel culture, and I do believe, by the way, that cancel culture is basically, they're doing this to throw conservatives kind of a bone, saying, look, we you know, we're kind of equal here.
Just to recap, because Darren, people might be just tuning in. We're just covering the Nick Cannon story. He got fired from Viacom. He was a terrestrial radio disc jockey and made some comments. Was it on a show, or do you know if he tweeted
on
that?
his own. It was on his own.
Okay.
It was on his own podcast.
Okay, and so some of those comments were anti-Semitic and anti-white. So sorry, but go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it's I just don't think it's a good idea for, and I won't get into the whole detail on why he was let go. We really kind of don't know why that happened, kind of thing. Like, I mean, like what comments drove people over the edge? And there are people that are, kind of in favor of this kind of thing, who think that it is a good idea. And they're kind of celebrating, but really and truly, like I said, it's kind of like it's what they're doing is just giving kind of a bone to conservatives, saying we kind of operate in an equitable fashion, or for whites, we kind of operate in an equitable fashion, which is they don't really. I mean, the left, primarily the cancel culture left is primarily anti-white and anti-America, anti-white, and I don't know why it seems like the establishment is bending over backwards for some of these leftist groups. I don't know why, but they are. And it's kind of a scary thought. And I think if the left wins, I think that America may be finished. The United States, the way we know it, may be finished. And that's a scary thought. I mean, overnight, Joe, almost overnight after the death of George Floyd, I mean, we've had this pandemic, which changed a lot of people's lives, like things like going to the movie theaters, watching sporting events, playing ball. And now with the death of George Floyd, a lot of our traditions and our statues and the like seem to be coming down. And I guess some of our traditions are going the way, and they're not going the way peacefully. I mean, they're going the way by force, and everyone's just afraid of this cancel culture, which seems to be, like I said, supported by the establishment. And the establishment right now wants to tell you who to listen to and basically what to think and what you can and cannot hear. And we're in dangerous times. Joe, do you have a response to that, or?
No, I don't really put as much stock in our media. I mean, it just seems like a big game that they're running, and people have the choice to just keep it off, turn it off, and keep it off, or to tune in and get into the conversation at hand. And I feel like the happiest people I've run into recently are the ones that just haven't, they have no clue about these events even happening. They just don't pay attention. And but just I'm just, this doesn't address the situation. I'm just saying that there's just like kind of another way of looking at it. And I used to be so, I spent years just kind of wrapped up in the just kind of pop culture, and I'm still a fan of pop culture. I love, and I understand a lot about pop culture and the history and how how the different ages, just going from uh, decade to decade, you can just see some massive changes in how the media likes to steer the conversation, uh, from fashion all the way down the list. And this right now, this is just such an epic display of division. And I find it interesting. I never would have known about this unless you brought it up, but now that you're bringing it up, obviously millions of people watch TMZ, and I know Nick Cannon has a incredible fan base from starting here in LA all the way across the country. And yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, how far will this go? When did this happen, by the way?
I believe it happened yesterday. I mean, like I don't. I could go up and pull up. Let me see here. When
It's
was?
like a day doesn't go by in the post George Floyd death that we don't get some sort of you know some kind of story of division in the media, and it's a sad thing to watch. And yeah, it's pretty tragic that just how powerful, when you consider how powerful the media is, that how much legs these stories have. I understand your approach here to discuss these stories, because there is a huge constituency um, that relies on these sort of stories to get by in their day. It's just amazing. Yes, the Washington Thin Skins. What's up, Darren? Dennis Dyke is here. He's a dyke. We got who else is here? Yeah, we got some other people listening. Thank you for being here. So yeah, um, I don't know. I think I steered clear of your question. What was your question again?
Well, yeah, well, I was just asking for like a comment on this, but I
Yeah.
mean, our last show we talked about John Wayne, which by the way was inaccurate. I mean, they're not taking down the statue; they removed an exhibit. And I
Yes.
was kind of disappointed, by the way, like, and because it kind of, it was the whole issue of the statue being removed, which I was, like I said, I was wrong about, and I just, I kind of wanted to. There's a gentleman. He was calling him a draft dodger, and this guy was no snowflake. I mean, he was I mean, from the looks of him, he looked like a very tough man, uh, kind of a rather, I would say, military veteran. And I mean, I always thought that most military veterans liked John Wayne, uh, but it was, and he called him. He didn't say he hated him, but he said that he didn't have any respect for the man, and it's kind of an unfortunate thought process there. And but people can think however they want, and that's the main point of us doing this, is to have people with different thoughts come together and let's have it out. I mean, brutal honesty is what's kind of needed, and nobody should tell you what to think and how to think, and there should be a place. If it's not going to be YouTube, it should be another place that where people are free to give their thoughts and and just not be canceled. I mean, I'm against. I don't like the fact that Nick's been that this guy's been canceled. Nick Cannon. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with a lot of what he says. I think it's a lot of gobbledygook. But who cares? My point is, cancel culture should not have the kind of control that it does. I don't want it to have any control. I mean, I'll decide as a grown adult what I'll listen to and what I won't. And if I had children, I'd make that decision too. This hate speech stuff is just a ruse, and the same thing with conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I'll decide what's a conspiracy theory and what isn't. And I think the people should be able to decide that.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like, who are you to say what I won't or I will not listen to? And who are you? And the thing of it is also, controversy. Yeah, I'm against this. By the way, I don't think. Look, and this is in Britain. By the way, I'm actually firmly against this. And particularly at this time, the people who are protesting the British are very disrespectful of their British roots, and those that are foreign-born who are not ethnically British are being very disrespectful of that country as well. Either they or their ancestors came to that nation by choice, and it seems very disrespectful. And this statue seems like just a joke. This would be a comedy. This kind of protester. What do protesters build, by the way? Do they build anything? It to me is beyond silly. It's beyond stupid and beyond silly. Look at that. Who is this person supposed to be? I saw a picture of that, and it's like, it looks so stupid.
Jen Reed poses in front of her sculpture titled "A Surge of Power." So it's the artist.
Well, it just seems very stupid. I mean,
oh yeah.
Britain, by the way, is an ethnicity. Is there anyone protest? But by the way, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Thousands of British girls were brutally raped and groomed by Muslim grooming gangs. Any statue to their suffering? It's like it kind of, this kind of thing, Joe. It just shows.
Get your goat.
It does to a degree, and I don't think. And you know what? I don't think the majority of the British people are in favor of this. I think this is the establishment, but not the will of the people. This is not the will of the people, and it's certainly, I don't think, the will of the British people, the ethnically British people. And usually, I wouldn't make a thing about it, and say ethnically British, but I'm going to do that only because I think what is being done to them is very disrespectful, and they're being demonized and they're being maligned. And I think that's really wrong. Again, you're coming to that country, the people who are of different ethnicities came to that. They didn't come there as chattel slavery. At least the vast majority of them came by choice, and they disrespect and want a statue. That's absurd. I would vote to take that statue down. If I were in Britain today, I think I would probably vote to remove that statue, and I would vote. I would vote even stricter immigration laws, and I would expel as many criminals as I could, and as many foreign freeloaders as I could, and I would make the immigration laws very strict there, and it's just not good. Just these we're giving into. It seems like we're giving into all kinds of. The establishment is giving into all kinds of foolishness, and they're doing it without question. Where's the debate? You know, when Roseanne was kicked off her show and the #1 rated show, is there any debate, any discussion on that, any vote? Or is it just the elite that gets to vote in cancel culture? Is there any trial in cancel culture?
So today, a black man came up to me at my shop. He had 2 flat tires. I put his tire in my car and gave him the keys to my car. Gave him directions to the tire shop. True story. Good
Yeah,
job,
look, you know, and you know what? Decent people exist, noble people exist, and respect should be given to people, and in my opinion, sight unseen. You earn my disrespect, and you know, due process should be given to everyone, including authorities, police. And it seems like we're just giving into the mob. And this is us giving into the mob. I wonder if the British people were even asked. And you know, like, were the British people even asked to have their majority city, to have their city overrun with people that are not ethnically British? I mean, I wonder if something like this would happen in Tokyo, like it is in London. Would this happen in Seoul, Korea? That's another thing. These K-poppers who are who are aligning with Black Lives Matter and making the whole trending section. Like, if anytime a conservative person talks about white or European things, if they're from Korea, they should stay the hell out of our politics. You're not in our country. And that kind of pisses me off that they if that's the case, if they're from Korea and they're trying to influence our politics when their country's not that diverse, it kind of makes me a little bit angry. It's like, what are you doing? And it also goes to show, to a degree, how much leftism has perhaps brainwashed the masses. And not just the I mean, because a lot of these teachers may be Western, and they're teaching children these leftist ideologies. And there's no debate, because if you debate, they will punish you. This whole thing seems to be based on fear and intimidation, where you're not allowed to speak.
Certainly, we're under a lot of duress right now. And I've seen videos of people getting harassed in public places for not wearing a mask. And that's yet another aspect of fear, and certainly has people on edge.
And you know what? There's no open dialogue about that. Maybe wearing a mask is the best thing to do, but the fact that Social media will censor anything that goes to the contrary. And in particular, also, they will anything that goes against the Black Lives Matter narrative will also um, be censored. Just it's really it's one of the most anti-liberty, anti-democratic things I've ever seen, and it's the establishment really running roughshod. I mean, the First Amendment. I'd rather be denied a meal. Like, I mean, this seems to me to go against the codes of the 1964 Civil Rights, the Public Accommodations Act of the 1964 Civil Rights Bill that was passed in 1964. Said that more than once, but yeah, I'd rather be denied a meal, an open restaurant, where I can go get something else to eat than this one. I mean, this is the only major platform in town, and if you speak the wrong thing, and let's be honest here, it's against white people, white conservatives. They call it white supremacy, which is a slander against white people. Things you're not allowed to say or do. But other groups can also do it as well. I mean, they have their hate speech policy, but look at who's allowed to stay on and look who has to leave. You tell me that's fair? Yeah, I mean, Andy Bowen says now that guy has one less reason to be against white people. Well, like I said, no, and the thing is, like I said, it's a farce. There should be, what, hate speech is a farce in my opinion. I don't believe in hate speech. Hate speech was invented by, I mean, it's a European thing. It's not American. There is no hate speech in the First Amendment. There are people who say the First Amendment does not protect hate speech. Yes, it does. I mean, and like I said, there is no hate speech. There's just speech.
Well, it seems to me that much of what we're facing is farce. It's farcical. It's just a nightmare, and we're not on just the ground level here. We have to be so careful about what we say and present and show that it's crazy.
Yeah,
especially when we're basically applying our opinion. It all stops. We're not trying to be influenced by what others are saying. We're coming with our own opinions. So,
yeah,
it's certainly a worrisome thing, and the cancel culture is another aspect of the fear campaign that we're all dealing with. Yeah. By the way, are you a fan of Millhip? Have you ever seen Millhip's show?
No, but let me get back to cancel culture.
I was just going to say, yesterday, his show was great. If you get a chance, you should listen to it. It was really good. Yeah, go on.
But I wanted to mention that there was a story from a woman who worked at the New York Times who just resigned, primarily because of the bullying from cancel culture and the far left. And those who are unaware of it and unaware of exactly what's going on with cancel culture, it's kind of a scary thing, and I can't believe that the establishment is kind of bending the knee to this kind of thing, but it is.
It is.
And in more ways than one. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what can happen. I'm thinking maybe 230 reform. I don't know. That these movements, a lot of these psychological movements and these BLM, I see BLM as filled with egocentric narcissists that don't build anything, that don't do anything, and have really no good intentions. I mean, some of the stuff, if you see some of these protests, it's just it's rife with drama queen, egocentric, almost bordering on narcissism, and we're giving into that. And they've said that before about Black Lives Matter. It's a lot of it's filled with very narcissistic people, and you're giving these people you're making these people go front and stage. This woman looks like such an egocentric narcissist. I'm not a, I'm not, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but look at that. This woman's given a stat. Like, is this statue? This woman is absurd.
Well, she was probably commissioned to do it, so for her, it's probably a huge honor. But
it's not
the point here.
Why would the establishment give in to such nonsense? I mean, the British people that created a nation. Nations are not built, by social justice. They're built by hard work and look. I mean, like, not everything happens there is great, but they built a nation that is the envy of many. Many people want to come there. And this woman's raising her fist in the air, whose ancestors probably come from, horrific poverty. And billions of people would love to be in her position, love to be any kind of person in the UK. The same thing with America. There are billions of people that would love to be any kind of American. I mean, I just think there should be a realization of what we have and what it took to get there.
I'm not sure what Darren is asking, but he keeps asking me to ask you about Monty Python.
That's off topic, but
I don't know.
Brian, he's talking about The Life of Brian, which is, it's a good film. But
yeah, it's a good film. I'm not sure how it applies here either, but
it does not tie in. Shame on you, Darren, for not tying in.
Darren, go back to sleep.
Go back to bed, Darren. Sometimes I like Monty Python. Other times I don't. But you know what, Joe? I think I've exhausted.
I'm a bit of an Anglophile, and I grew up enjoying Monty Python films, but Life of Brian is as good as the Holy. What does that have to do with anything?
I wanted to mention, by the way, that maybe the way because John Cleese had mentioned that his city of London is not ethnically British anymore, or so that kind of ties in, and the people should be grateful that the British people allow that to happen without any resistance, or without much resistance. I couldn't see something like that happening in Tokyo, Japan, or Seoul, Korea. People let you in, and maybe they believe that because of colonialism or whatever. What's that got to do with the people there? And why would the British people want you? Because of what their ancestors did? You want to punish them? Is that what it is? Give me a break. So silly. You become it's almost like the whole Western world is giving into such silliness. Defund the police. Some of these other movements. I don't think conservatives should get behind this cancel culture nonsense. Whether Nick Cannon said a stupid thing or not, which he probably did.
You're going to have to address this comment by Debbie Daly.
Really? You think I posted some racist stuff on Facebook? I don't feel that I have. I feel I'm speaking my mind. I don't feel what I post is racist. I feel what I post is truth.
What was the post, Debbie? Was it about murder being up 600%? I don't know.
Yes. But I've made some controversial posts, and it was about the Hey Babes.
The hay bales?
See, I guess it hit her as racist. Look, I personally don't care.
What was the context? What was it about?
Dude, I post what I believe.
Debbie knows. Stop doubting Debbie.
But I post what I believe to be true.
Mm-hmm. There you go, Debbie.
You know, whether people call it racist or not. But like I said, I'm against cancel culture on any terms. I want to see that kind of thing come to an end. And just conservatives, just because they're throwing you a bone, don't take the scraps. Throw it away. Tell them, hey, I don't want it. I want, I don't want anyone to be canceled. I don't want Farrakhan to be canceled. I don't want Nick Cannon to be canceled. I don't want any of them to be canceled. Let them speak their mind. I'd rather, you know what? I'd rather know someone is against me than pretend they're not.
This is what transparency and merit covers. All right. We're talking about some of the fight that's going on in this world has directly to do with your ability to speak your mind and have an opinion.
That's right.
We're looking at issues where some of these ideas are at threat, and if they're just ignored, then what's next? Are we going to have more rights stripped from us? So
I think we are.
We're putting we're already losing. The more we ignore these issues, then the greater the threat, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we all need to be less mad. I agree. I've had a lot of, I was really tested today, man. I had a lot of interesting phone calls during the day, and I didn't feel like I was in the wrong in any of them, but they were certainly some
I think they
fingers.
all came from one person.
No, more than one. More than one. Crazy Doug was just one. I had about 3 phone calls today. All of them were miserable. So it's just the way the day went. I have to check the solar alignments or whatever. I don't know, but if you're dealing with anger, keep listening to Transparency and Merit. We'll absorb all your anger from you, and we'll suck it out of you, and then we'll spit it all over Debbie.
That's correct. But I'll just say this. I mean, it's made me angry. Some of the BLM is kind of a racist organ. We want to, cut it to the chase. There are people that believe that racism doesn't exist. There are people that believe that only white people can be racist, and white people are extra immoral and lack empathy, like Nick Cannon believed, and he was quoting a thing from the Nation of Islam to a degree. He was on, I believe, what's his name? He was on with Professor Griff.
Mm.
And he had made that statement. And it's, like I said, to me, it's foolishness. I don't agree with it. I don't believe in that stuff. I mean, for me, I'm an atheist myself, so I don't believe in, it was absolute pseudoscience garbage. But I don't care. I don't think, I wouldn't even want him to lose his job. Why don't we have Roseanne? I mean, I would prefer him not lose his job and Roseanne to come back to her show. She even apologized, and she gets less support.
All right. So are we exhausted here or what?
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us, Joe. I think that will do it. And like I said, hopefully people will tell us what they think. And
yeah, we really need some comments. And I'm not talking to the people live chatting. We appreciate all the great chats. Joe Biden seems senile to me. He seems like a pathetic candidate, but that's what we're going to be looking at here. We got Trump and Biden. So yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I'm as apolitical as it gets, but this is just bizarro world. So anyways, transparency and merit needs more comments, and we need subscribers. So click those buttons and get it done. Anything else, Brian?
Well, like I said, hopefully, look, we need open and honest dialogue, maybe even some brutal honesty with each other. And you're not going to get that with cancel culture and censorship. That's just not the way it's going to go. People need to hurt people's feelings, and cancel culture is actually worse than some of the most inflammatory speakers on YouTube. They're worse than Nick Cannon. These groups are monstrous.
Well, my opinion has been censored. My opinion has been censored, and I have to be very careful about where I engage, because I understand that I don't want to put the channel at threat, but the more the deeper I get into some of these areas, I'd prefer to not risk us getting thrown off here. I'm not rushing him off. He has to get off. So yeah, I mean, I could go for 3 hours tonight, but I realize we don't want to go in circles, and next time maybe give us a call if you're so hell bent on talking. How about that, people? Give us a phone call. Our phone lines are always open during our shows.
Absolutely. All right, I think that'll do it. Like and subscribe, and leave a comment, as we said before.
No, I'm not. Get out of here. I can always start my own show. I'm not worried about it. But Brian, is that it? There's heavy demand for you to keep bloviating. Are you sure you want to?
Joe, for this topic, I think we've exhausted. I'm sorry, Debbie, but we have.
But our listeners are growing. Don't you see? We have all these people listening. All right. Good night, people. Thanks for hanging out, Wayne. You were late to this party, but there will be more. It's summertime, and we're going to have parties. Oh. All right. Let's see what's going on here. All right, you are on the call here with Brian and Joe. What's going on?
Well, for full disclosure, I identify as Japanese man, so I apologize.
Okay, welcome to the show, Japanese man.
Thank you.
We're almost ending it. Go ahead.
Choose, because I would like to speak to MMM, but then also, before I get hung up on, I do have a tax question I do want to ask.
All right.
Anyway, is MMM there?
He's here. He's tired. He's about to fall asleep. So go ahead and ask your question, or say what you got to say.
It's not so much question as comment.
All good.
Number one, MMM, the problem is, buddy, you need to get laid, right? And secondly, if people own their own houses or actually knew who there never was, you wouldn't care about what's on the fucking news. You'd be concerned about what goes on in your own little place. Number one, get some pussy. If you got some goddamn tail in your fucking house, you ain't gonna sit around and watch the goddamn news and shit like this just
I'm going to the bathroom real quick. I'll come back.
All right. Okay, Japanese man, we're done. We're done with you. We're done.
Wait,
I gotta go. Let him blow the 8 because I gotta go to the restroom.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm losing my stoic calm.
All right. It's a guy. Turns out he only filed an extension last year, and so this year, today is the cutoff. He goes to file for his taxes this year, but he doesn't know the AIG number, whatever the fuck. How the fuck can you goddamn file it? Goddamn taxes.
AGI. Yeah, your AGI. You got to put this year's tax return on extension if last year's isn't completed. Sorry,
it
but
wouldn't let me do a goddamn extension. I feel it's online. I had to have an AGI, and the goddamn post office is closed. Oh, MMM. I would also like to point out to you, man. You probably spoiled hanging around goddamn LA with a goddamn hot ass tail everywhere. Don't be picky, my friend. You know, I live in my brother's garage, and I got depressed as fuck, and I got some fat Eskimo will sit out in my minivan and jack me off. And you know what? I sleep with a goddamn smile on my face. I ain't marrying this broad. She ain't meet my mom. But goddamn, it beats being fucking lonely. And when you're lonely, you start looking into shit like this that don't goddamn matter nothing in your life. Man, Nick Cannon ain't gonna come over and rob your house. Fuck. You're goddamn. You are a part of a community of. You know what? If the race war starts and it is blacks against Jews, I don't know. Here's what I'll side with the blacks, and here's why.
What?
I just thought of this. Yeah, because you know what? Here's the deal. All right, say yourself or whatever, doubtful, but has some hot ass daughter, and I wanted to bang her and marry her. You would not let me do that. But if I go over to some goddamn black people's house and I want to marry their daughter, they'd be like, come on in, son. And we'll fucking do it and have babies and be happy. But if I do it in dirty Jew community, y'all two, then guess what?
What?
Ain't happening. You'll force me to become Jew.
Willie, you're talking out of your butthole again.
Dude, seriously, you would force me to have a Jewish wedding to marry your Jewish daughter.
Don't give a crap.
That's the equivalent of a goddamn black man making me wear blackface to marry his fucking daughter.
Well,
so there is the little yin and yang. Skelly bound.
On Facebook. Thank you, Willie.
You know what? I hope the blacks win just for a sporting perspective.
Right.
Y'all are terrible. Terrible at sports. And I don't know how you pull Sandy Koufax out of your ass.
Mark Spitz.
How do you remember him?
Lyle Alzado, sir. Lyle Alzado. He was
Mark Spitz, Lyle Alzado, and Neil. What was his name? Neil Armstrong. All right. Good night. Are we done?
Garvey.
Yes, Steve Garvey.
Get some chopstick,
Rod Carew.
Get some done, man. You honestly, if I had a slicer and I could go in and shave off some of your cheeks, I would make a ham sandwich. You look so delicious and ham-like. Fuck you.
Thank you. All right. All right. Thanks again, everybody.
John Matute, Jewish. No.
What's that? Yeah, I want some of that ham sandwich, by the way.